Okay, didn't get a video done yesterday. The computer was not cooperating, so I apologize for being a day late, but it is a holiday weekend, so give me a little bit of a break. We're going to do something a little different tonight, as probably something that most of you have never made. So these are quail. They're very small birds. As you can tell, there's not a whole lot of meat on each one, so when you cook them, you're going to want to plan 2 to 3 per person. There's a little bit of meat on the breast, a little bit of meat on the drumstick, and you're going to get 2 to 3 bites per bird. It's kind of an exotic dish a little bit. I mean, exotic's not the right word, but it's a little bit of a fancy dish. We have a local Asian food market, and the woman that's there always laughs at me when I go in because I buy the strangest things. And she actually asked me if I had ever had or liked to cook quail, and she had some and gave me a really good price on them. So I figured, why not show you how to do something that you've probably never seen before. So this video is going to be kind of in 2 parts, and we're still working on our video editing skills. So if the transition between part 1 and part 2 is a little choppy, I'm going to apologize in advance. But I'm going to do the marinade now, and then we're going to pause, and then I'm going to come back and do the baking. So first thing, I'm going to turn this to 375. You're not going to need the oven right away. You're going to want to let this sit for a half an hour, but you want to make sure that oven is good and hot. And the reason for that is you want to kind of crisp them on the outside. If you put them in an oven that's not fully up to temp, it's not going to crisp that skin. And that skin on the quail is really, really tasty. So make sure you preheat your oven plenty of time ahead of time. And let's do a marinade here. All right, so I've got some leeks that I've cut up. Now, if you're not overly familiar with leeks, here's a perfect example right here, okay? Leeks come off in rings like this, and sometimes, if you look, you get dirt in the rings. The best way to deal with that, cut the leeks into rings, put them in a bowl full of water, and let them soak for about 10 minutes. Stir them up a few times. When you take them out of the water, use a slotted spoon to scoop them. And what you'll find is a whole bunch of dirt will settle on the bottom of the bowl. And that's the best way I found to clean leeks. It works really well. You get that grit out of there, and it cleans them really well. Now, we're going to use about half of these. This right here is 2 leeks, 2 full stalks cut into rings, right? So I'm going to take a reasonable handful here. We're going to save this for later because this is going to be actually a topping. And to this, I have 5 cloves of garlic. Now this is a garlic press. If you don't have one, go get one. Because take a clove of garlic and you just press it through. You can just do that over and over. It'll pretty much rice the garlic, make it come out like little pieces of rice, and it will save you a whole lot of time chopping up garlic. And it does a really nice job. Any chunks from the skin that you might have missed come off pretty well. And just take your knife, trim that off there. You get some pieces on the side here. And if you want, you can scrape this out of here. A lot of this is going to be the pulp, but since this is a marinade, we're probably okay in saving that. All right, so here we go. Now this one has a little side piece on it, so I can do that, and it pokes all the holes clean, which is really handy. So, oh, sorry, I missed one. Last one. All right, so we've got our garlic. Like I said, that was 6 cloves. As always with these recipes, if you are not a huge garlic fan, leave the garlic off. If you maybe don't want that much garlic, put in a little less. We tend to eat a fair amount of garlic, so we kind of go a little heavy on it. So to this, I'm going to add fish sauce. Now, if you've never used fish sauce, it is pretty much exactly what it says. It is sauce made from boiled down fish and concentrated. It is very, very salty. So you want to go light on this. The great thing about fish sauce is it adds a lot of umami. Umami is really the extra taste that we don't really normally associate. You've got salt, sweet, bitter, and sour. Umami is that savory flavor, the flavor you get from a really well-cooked steak or like a shiitake mushroom or something like that. Anchovies are another one that will give a really good umami flavor. So we're going to take some of this. Like I said, very salty, so you want to go easy. I'm going to put maybe a half a teaspoon in there. I'm going to use my soy sauce substitute. Feel free to use soy sauce if that's what you have. I really like this Bragg's. It is so similar in flavor to soy sauce and virtually no sodium. As even the low sodium soy sauce is pretty high. This is a really good substitute. So we're going to give that a couple tablespoons worth. About a tablespoon of lime juice. We're going to take some sesame oil. It's the end of my sesame oil. We will have to fix that because we use that frequently. And if you remember last time, I did some of the Thai chili, the sweet Thai chili sauce. This is called ma ploy. Like I said, this is a very well-used condiment in a lot of places. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. If you can't get ma ploy, there's other sweet Thai chili sauces out there. But it adds a really nice flavor, a little bit of sweetness. And then you can use any kind of wine you want to. I have a Marsala here, a dry Marsala, which is pretty much a white wine. It's dark in color, but it has a flavor of a white wine. And it's a little bit sweet, but this is a dry Marsala, so you're gonna eliminate a lot of that sweetness. So, and then finally, some sesame seeds. Okay. We're gonna mix this all together. We're going to let these marinate for at least 30 minutes, if not 45. It's fairly early today still. It's only about 4 o'clock when we're doing this, so I might give it a little more time than that actually. But just a note on marinating. So when you marinate something, the point is to let the flavor really soak into the meat. This is different than, like, say, applying barbecue sauce, okay? And this is a very important distinction. When you marinate something, it's got to be something that's going to get into the actual meat that you're trying to impart flavor to. We have soy sauce, which has salt, or the Bragg's a little bit of salt. The fish sauce has some salt. The ma ploy has salt. The lime juice has citrus, which will kind of break down some of that protein. These are all things that are actually going to absorb into the meat. When you apply something like a barbecue sauce does zero good applying it ahead of time. Barbecue sauce is a lot of sugar for the most part. It's got tomato paste and molasses and stuff like that, but it's not something that's going to absorb into the meat. The correct time to apply barbecue sauce is shortly before the meat is done cooking. Essentially, with like a barbecue sauce or any of those other grilling sauces, you essentially just want it to caramelize on the meat before you take it off. It's a topping. It's not a marinade. Distinct difference there. So we have these. We're going to pop them in this bag. And yes, using a Ziploc bag to marinate is perfectly okay. Do it all the time, and it works great. So once you get it sealed, get them good and coated. We're going to take this, we're going to rinse the blood off it. And we're going to put it in the fridge. We're going to marinate it cold. We don't want our quail, which is a poultry, like chicken, like turkey. We don't want any of that to go bad. So we're going to leave that like that. When we come back, I will have these in a baking dish, and we're going to pop them in the oven. And then we're going to quickly make a buttery leek topping for them. And I'm going to show you how to melt leeks. And that sounds funky, but you'll find out. We'll be back soon.